Hello, everyone, and welcome to the series analysis episode of the Seattle Baseline Podcast. My name is Julian Smith, and I'm with Alex Hong. Wow, Alex, that was I didn't expect to be so excited for a series against the Colorado Rockies in 2025. But here we are. The first game, we clinched the wild card. The second game, we clinched the AL West crown. Third game, well, this one happened before the third game, but day of the third game, we clinched the bye in the wild card series. So every single game, there's a milestone. And speaking of milestones, Cal Raleigh hits his 60th home run. Alex, I think there's a lot of emotion. Like this series, for being a Colorado Rockies series in 2025, this is everything.
Yeah, this was
Um,
an. I mean, like, look, we're against the Rockies, who are arguably one of the worst teams in modern history, right? Or let alone one of the worst teams this season. But like you said, I mean, I was born in 2005, so I've only ever watched one Mariners playoffs, which was in 2022, right? So this is the second playoffs I get to watch. This is the first time I ever seen them win the division, and it's the first time I ever seen them get a first round bye. This is the first time those two have happened since 2001. So for like Mariners fans, this is like we're not very used to this. Like the Dodgers, the Yankees, the expectation is that they make the playoffs and they go make a deep run. Us Mariners fans, we're not really used to this. So like I know we're like those like Yankees fans are probably just like, oh, okay, cool, we clinched, time to win the division, right? But for us, they gotta celebrate every day they can. So I think they ran like three like champagne parties the Mariners did in the locker rooms, and that was all. That's all good for them because this city is not used to it.
I mean, I hear all about it. The 116 wins. Ichiro was a beast. I'm a big Ichiro fan. I love watching Ichiro highlights and stuff like that. I never got to see it. And so, to be able to see a historic season like this, especially when Cal Raleigh is playing the way that he is, punching 60 home runs and being one of the best defensive catchers in baseball, just insane. And then you've got just the team in general. You just won a championship. Like that's insane. I'm at a loss of words because this moment is, from 2022, you're watching a team that's going upward. You started to rebuild this team in the late 2010s, and then you get to 2022, you make the playoffs. Wow, this team is really good. And then 2023, 2024, you miss the playoffs by one. It just seemed like they were on a downward trend. And last year we were talking about the great pitching staff, and we wasted this amazing season. But then 2025 comes around, everybody's locked in. We just won the American League crown. This is not normal. This is not typical for the Mariners, and I hope it starts to become typical. But every moment of this is surreal, and it's just amazing to see this.
Yeah, for definitely. And like, I mean, the Rocky, like this series, right? We talked about how like this was a big opportunity because what set this series up to be so amazing, besides just the sweep, is that we swept the Astros in the series before. We had it so easy in this series, right? All we needed to do was just take care of business and we clinch everything, and we don't even need to worry about the Dodgers. Right. And we did it. I mean, everything's just going so well for the Mariners right now. It's crazy. And you talk about the 2022 playoffs. That team, I remember, I was like, they made the playoffs, which was amazing, and I knew they weren't going to go really far and they did win the wildcard series against Toronto, which was a great series, a big comeback in the game two, I believe. Yeah, it was game two, I think. But that team had a lot of lineup flaws. This team is like a complete team. This is a team I genuinely think can make the World Series. Like, I know we talked about earlier in the year in like the podcast, like, is this team good enough? Like, we need to see this and this happen. Like, I'm not sure if the team is good enough. Well, the way I've seen this team play in the last like 17 games, or even the last like like even ever since the trade deadline, I mean, we had our slumps here and there, but when at our peak, we definitely can win it all. And this team is very, very good. There's a reason why we clinched that bye and clinched the division and clinched the playoffs well before the series ended. I mean, the season ended.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
Eugenio Suarez is at 49 home runs. He's one away from that 50 mark. Cal Raleigh just hit 60. He's two away from Aaron Judge's record, world record in home runs. And this team right now, I mean, I just listed two of their top home run performers, but then you've got Randy Rosarena at leadoff spot, Julio Rodriguez. Julio's our superstar, and like we we didn't even start by talking about him. That's how good this team is, to the point where like it's not just Julio, it's not just Cal, it's Randy, Cal, Julio, Josh Naylor, Jorge Polanco, Eugenio Suarez, Dom Canzone, Victor Robles. You can go through an entire list of players in this lineup that are contributing to this Mariners team. And then you get to the pitching staff. You've got Brian Wu, all-star, Logan Gilbert starting to turn the corner, George Kirby, same, starting to turn the corner. Bryce Miller comes back from injury and he's on an upward scale. Luis Castillo just had his best outing in the year so far. These Mariners, they're not just good, they're on an upward trend. And every single game, it seems like they're improving. It seems like they're confident in their ability to go out and play Mariner baseball. And so it's it's really it's going to be interesting. I think that the Mariners this year, it's not just that they're on a hot streak, they're they're rising like every single game. You go from the first game of the Astros series all the way to the game against the last game against the Rockies. Every single game, you're climbing up that ladder. This Mariners team continues to get better, and there's a reason they're making not just the playoffs, but they just clinched the bye.
Yeah, and I mean another thing is the American League is not that strong, right? I mean in years past to make the playoffs you need like 90. I think in 2019 the A's got like the second wild card spot with like 96 wins. And at that point there was only two wild cards. So that's when like the AL was crazy. I think the Twins had like 100 something wins. The Astros had like 100 something wins, right? I think they won the series that year. So like, I mean, I'm just thinking about it. It's just like they really have a shot, and that's like crazy to me because going into the year, I was really concerned because I didn't think the offseason was that good. But our players, they we were aggressive at the trade deadline. So, I mean, this is truly, I believe, this can truly be the year, and I'm really excited for that. One thing I want to talk about real quick is where exactly we lie in the standings. So we talked about how we clinched the bye, right? So we don't need to worry about any teams below us, right? So that means we're not going to be playing in the first round, but we will most likely. Okay, so basically, we are the second seed right now, and the Toronto Blue Jays and the Yankees are tied for the first seed, depending on who ends up getting the division, which Toronto has the tiebreaker. But both Toronto and the New York Yankees have the tiebreaker over us. So, in order for us, the only way we can actually get the one seed would be if Toronto and Blue Jay get swept and we win one out of two. No, if we win two out of one, or we sweep and they go one out of two, which is pretty unlikely because Toronto is against Tampa Bay Rays and New York Yankees are against the Orioles. But honestly, I don't even want the one seed because I think getting the one seed, they have to play the top two wildcard teams, which ends up being New York Yankees most likely, or the either the Yankees, Toronto, or uh Red Sox. And that seems a lot unfavorable than the third and the sixth seed, which will most likely either be the Guardians or the Tigers or the Houston Astros. So I'm perfectly content where we are. If we get the two seed, that's completely fine with me. The two and the one seed don't really matter too much. That only matters if they go against each other in the ALCS and the one seed gets one more home game. So I'm perfectly content to where we are.
Um, what one thing is too that like imagine the amount of turmoil our starters have to go through to try to get that one seed. You're going against the Dodgers. the most spending team in baseball, and you're gonna have to put out all of your starting lineup plus all of your starting pitching. If you really want to make that one seed, you have to put in all these guys. And I just don't think it's worth it. At this point, you've you've clinched and relax and enjoy baseball. And that's not to say don't try to win. It's to say you're gonna save some arms for the playoffs. You're not gonna put out Andres Munoz or and Matt Brash every single game just to get a win. You're just trying to cruise through. This is what the playoff team feels like because the Dodgers are a playoff team. They spent $700 million on their team. They are a playoff team, and they clinched their NL West, right?
The Dodgers did clinch the AL
Yeah,
West, NL West.
yeah. And so this is going to be their pitching staff is exactly what you see from the playoffs. And if our starting lineup can, or not our starting lineup, if our players that are going to be playing in the playoffs in that starting lineup can hit against these pitchers, I think the confidence boosts significantly going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, in this Dodgers series, there's only a few things I'm looking for, right? One, hopefully Cal Raleigh gets to 62 or even that would be great, 63 home runs because hitting 60 is incredible already. And if he does want to win the MVP and like really increase his chances, getting the AL title in home run, the home run record in the American League would definitely do the trick. I mean, already hitting 60 is incredible. And even if Cal Raleigh doesn't win the MVP, this is an amazing season. We have to, like, at the end of the day, whatever happens, when after the Dodgers series, we're going to be talking about, wow, Cal Raleigh had one of the best catcher seasons ever. And he has so many more home runs than the second guy. His record probably will not be broken for a long time unless he breaks it himself, to be honest. So this is a magical season by Raleigh. And Suarez, he can get to 50. That would be cool as well. I mean, there's just so many milestones, I think. And at this point, we can all relax because it doesn't really matter what happens in this Dodgers series. But there's a lot of things we could root for separately that usually we wouldn't necessarily be solely focusing on rooting for. And that could be having these players reach a ton of milestones and a ton of records. And that's really cool.
Yeah. One thing I want to say about the MVP race, just because if Cal Raleigh doesn't win, or if you're a Yankees fan, if Aaron Judge doesn't win, that doesn't mean either of these guys weren't MVP caliber players. If Cal Raleigh was doing this in 2024 and Aaron Judge was doing this in 2023, Aaron Judge is the 2023 MVP and Cal Raleigh is the 2024 MVP. That's how good these guys are. These two MVP worthy players are playing in the same season. That's why this season's so exciting. Aaron Judge is playing the best he's probably ever played, and Cal Raleigh is playing the best catcher season anybody's ever seen. Nobody has had a better season as a catcher than Cal Raleigh has. And so there's, even if Cal Raleigh doesn't win the MVP, there is no discredit to what he's done. He's gotten 60 home runs. He's tied what Barry Bonds hit, and Cal Raleigh is a catcher. That is unbelievable. And so I hope that Cal Raleigh wins the MVP, but even if he doesn't, it does not take away from any of the accomplishments that he's done.
Yeah, definitely. For the Dodgers series, they're probably gonna rest a lot of guys, as so the Mariners, but they're still gonna pitch. Their starting rotation's just elite, so their starters are all gonna be good. And what I hope we're probably gonna DH Cal Raleigh like most or the entire series. We're probably gonna catch Garver and Harry Ford. Suarez might play. We might. I don't know if they'll rest every day, but we might probably gonna rest Julio. We rested Crawford in the last game of the Rockies series, even. There's a lot of players, right, that like Polanco, he definitely needs a day off, I think. Um, yeah, so we're definitely not going to put the best lineup out there, and I have no idea what the Dodgers are going to put in. I'm not entirely confident or certain if Otani's going to play. He probably will, but I can't be too sure about that because he'll probably just DH. or he's the DH anyway,
Yeah.
so it's not too hard for him to hit, you know. Like it's one thing to play the field, but it's another thing to hit, just hit. But yeah, it's just gonna be I'm gonna be just relaxing, watching the series and rooting for a lot of home runs, I guess. So it's just so nice to be in this position. Usually by this point in time, like last year, the Mariners are either so close to making it, or we need the Mariners to win, and we have the scoreboard watch to watch. Oh, we need this team to lose, right? This, we need this and this to happen, right? Or the Mariners start collapsing at the end. The Mariners, I remember there was one year they had a terrible series against the A's, like at the end, and it like ruined us. But now we've already clinched everything. We could just relax without scoreboard watching. In fact, the scoreboard watching the Mariners would be doing is to seeing who they're going to go potentially go against, right? In the American League Divisional Series. They've already basically won the wild card series. So yeah, my final thoughts is this is amazing. I mean, what a way this season has gone. It's been a magical season. Let's end it strong. Maybe we can do some damage against the Dodger starters. That would honestly give us a lot more confidence um for that. And hopefully Cal Raleigh breaks the record. Yeah, I mean, I don't have much else to say. This has just been an unbelievable year, and I can't wait for the playoffs.
Yep. And what great way to do this as well. The Seahawks win today. Um, really close game. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
it was insane. Um, yeah. Hopefully the Seahawks keep on winning. If the Seahawks can win the same way that the Mariners are right now and make the playoffs, that would be super awesome. That would be a Seattle miracle if the Mariners and the Seahawks. Hopefully, I don't really keep up much with the Kraken, but hopefully the Kraken do the same as well. I
I
probably
think
will start doing that.
I think last Sunday, like it was like the last weekend was like a perfect Mariner or Seattle sports watch. I think all the Seattle teams won. So that was
Yeah.
good Seattle sports that weekend.
Yep.
But yeah, the Mariners, they will play the next meaningful series will be the ALDS, which will be on Saturday, October 4th at T-Mobile Park. So that's going to be something. Seattle's going to be probably really packed. Hopefully, the entire stadium gets full. I want to see that.
And I'll be watching from Pennsylvania on my MLB TV. So, Alex, if you end up going to any of the games, I know you're in Washington right now. Hopefully you send me some pictures. And yeah, if any of you all are going to the game, have a great time. Enjoy this. The Mariners have not done this in so long. It was before our lifetime. So enjoy this. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for watching. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and our beautiful faces on YouTube. Check out our Instagram. And as always, go Mariners.
Go Mariners.